Thank the Force, Star Wars news, and that's alive today, tonight, whatever time it is, wherever you are watching or listening. What a day in Star Wars! What a couple days it's been, because I feel like we just got hit with all the news, but all at once today. Nothing crazy until maybe tonight, but that was kind of the cherry on top. There's the Maul Shadow Lord comic, some of the little tidbits that are gonna pay maybe dividends for the show. You have the Disney OpenAI thing going on. Of course, we have Daisy Ridley's comments on she knew some things about the hum for Ben Solo, and then boom, we get Fate of the Old Republic trailer. So originally, you'll see the thumbnail for this episode tonight, which was going to be us looking back on Skeleton Crew, which Miguel it's his favorite Disney. It's your favorite Disney Plus show. So I knew you were really excited to have that, but we may not happen at all after with all of the things that we have going on this evening to talk about, especially with this. Let me just put up like that. From the Game Awards there, like boom, Fate of the Old Republic, which was, quite a banger for a lot of Star Wars fans to see. But Miguel, how are you doing on this Thursday? Been a couple of weeks since we've chatted.
I'm excited to talk about Skeleton Crew, it's gonna be an all Skeleton Crew night, I assume.
So are you
Which
most
I
looking
mean, we
forward to
have
talking about?
both of us have enough Skeleton Crew information in our heads to talk about for an hour, so it's good that there's nothing else to discuss.
I was actually thinking about doing just a 24-hour live stream only on
Right.
Skeleton Crew, spending about 3 to 4 hours per episode, and then the last few hours of the day, just kind of diving into what we think will happen in the inevitable season 2.
Right, yeah. Thankfully that is not happening. Yeah.
It is remarkable that in the universe that we live in and where my brain is at, I forgot completely that Skeleton Crew did come out last year. Like that was just a thought that did not cross my mind until you're like, well, we could always talk about, Skeleton Crew. It's been a year. I'm like, I guess that was last year. And it's funny when you think about a Star Wars show, but that's where we are right now in the world of streaming, where in my opinion. But here we go. Miguel, we got Daisy Ridley giving comments on the Humberman Solo. We have some Maul Shadow Lord tidbits. There is some of the Disney AI stuff we're going to talk about, but are you down to just kind of go with the big guns here early on, talk about Fate of the Old Republic and the trailer that was dropped at the Game Awards show?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
So this is going to be really exciting because Miguel and I know nothing about these games. So we're not experts, which might make this more fun because we're just going in this blind. Like we're going in blind, and I'm someone that, I don't necessarily, I hate saying like don't have time for video games because it makes me sound like I'm someone that looks down on like gamers and stuff, which is not, it's just not the case at all. It's just in the priorities that I have, I might prioritize going to the movies and or doing something else for my entertainment instead of play video games. But I will play some of the bigger games that get dropped in the Star Wars world. Like I enjoy sports games, but then anytime there's a massive Star Wars game, I do like to try to dive in. And I think considering that I say that I haven't played Jedi Survivor, but that's mainly because of like the PS5. Like I just need to buy a PS5. But right when that came out, all these things, I was saving up and buying an engagement ring, and then I went into immediately into saving up for a wedding. So my treat to myself once I'm married, like next summer, is what I have. Maybe this will be my graduation treat, Miguel. I graduate, get my master's next summer. I'll be like, you know what, I deserve a PS5 so I can sit and play Star Wars and not talk to my future wife at all. Like that might be something that I honestly should buy for myself.
I think she will appreciate it, yeah.
She probably would actually. We were talking the other day and she goes, I can't wait to talk about like the ways that we'll be able to, spend some alone time to, whenever we get married, because we're very different. I'm like the social, like I want to go do everything, talk to everyone. I see someone, I'm like, oh, we're gonna hang out. She is very social and an extrovert, but she really prioritizes that alone time way more than I do. So maybe the PS5 will be exactly what our marriage will need to really thrive into the future.
I think you should write this down for the future you.
Future me. Actually, I might just send her a text right now and just say
Yeah.
you decided that on Star Wars News Live that the number one thing to secure, a foundational, like peaceful marriage for us in the first few months is me, getting this PS5 to catch up on Star Wars video games.
Yeah. So I also have not played Jedi Survivor, even though it's sitting on my shelf, and that's mainly because I still have not beat Jedi Fallen Order. So that's my level of game expertise that I bring to the show. I have beat like 2 levels of
So
Star Wars,
I've
like
beaten Fallen Order, so I've got one up on you.
yeah, yeah. I beat like 2 levels of the Lego Skywalker Saga video game, and I am satisfied with that.
Yeah, that game was, I'm not gonna say it's a disappointment. It's not a disappointment
Oh,
at all.
really?
It's like uh do what?
Say again. Yeah.
Oh, so I'm not gonna say it was like a disappointment because it is really cool that you have everything there like in one game. But personally, it felt like, each movie is a little bit condensed. It's a little shorter because they have like all of these, different movies they're funneling in. And for me, I almost kind of just preferred, like, I'll just go play the individual movie game and just have like the longer, set up, the longer story to go play there. But it is cool to kind of bounce around each movie just on the thing, and you have all the characters that can go from any planet to one another. But I haven't revisited that in a long time. But all that to say, Miguel, is what did you think about the trailer for Fate of the Old Republic? Was this something that you are interested in? As I think personally, we maybe bring more to the table in this conversation because we are so selective with the games that we are playing. Does this maybe feel like it's going to fit the criteria of a selective choice Miguel game?
I like your optimism about this. So yeah, I mean, obviously this the game looks gorgeous. First of all, at least the 90 seconds that they showed. Um, which I mean, not that that matters, but it's still a factor, and I mean, this being a major game that will be probably be released in a few years. It's always good to keep in mind that they are keeping the. I mean, this shot is like just amazing. Um, so yeah, what was I saying? Basically, my main concern here is getting another Clips all over. Which I was chatting with the guys on the Star Wars News team on the Discord, and they were basically saying that in principle we should be a bit more optimistic about this because the game director is basically the same game director as in Knights of the Old
Mm-hmm.
Republic, like 20 years ago or something. So okay, I mean that's always good to keep in mind. But it's been here before done that, meaning in 2021 they also dropped a big 90-second or like 2-minute teaser for that was like High Republic, but it was still like pre-Phantom Menace Republic. Um, that looked very cool, and we're still waiting to hear if it's gonna come out within the next 10 years or so. So we're again at the Game Awards. We have an Old Republic game announcement. Looks pretty cool. Um, what's the status of this 2 years from now? That's I understand that games take a very long time to develop, but we're gonna be very excited for this for a week, and then we're gonna forget about this for another 18 months because there's just not gonna be news until they start
Mm-hmm.
uh, actually finalizing the game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fine. In
I
terms of the actual teaser,
mhm.
I'm on board.
I will say that the thing that really makes me curious is kind of a comment that we have here, which was about the canon status of the game, which is what Manslayer is bringing up. It seems like this game will be, and the Knights of the Republic, like we're not. are not necessarily considered like canon stories.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if this is something they say is a canon, or if this is going to be, just like just a game, just a Star Wars game. And I am one of those people that anytime they do story, games like this, I am perfectly okay if they come out and say that this doesn't like necessarily fit the canon, story. I don't think they even need to make a claim on that at all. It can just be Fate of the Old Republic, and then at some point, if they want to tie in something from this game, they can. I just don't think they should tie themselves down to that all the time, where every single thing that we do is this. Is, oh yeah, don't worry, guys, this is canon. This is like every story is canon. Because I think that almost hinders them a little bit. I think that we're sort of some of the things like games like this, maybe giving yourself a little wiggle room where, what, if we want to go back and do a show or tell a movie in this era, we don't have to worry as much about making sure we tie in everything from, this game here, this game there, this comic here. And instead it's like, hey, we could pull a little bit from this if we want, say like different aspects of this work. But the game is gorgeous. It looks absolutely gorgeous, like you said. And of course, having the same guy behind, the same mind behind, the original ones is going to make a lot of people happy. Like I called one of my friends immediately who I knew would just absolutely be excited for this. And he was on board, and he's someone that is, not necessarily, he's a very harsh critic with a lot of things in his life. And so like he's very much, he's not easy to please, but he was really excited about this game. And I think that's what the general consensus from Star Wars fans is going to be when they hear about this. But like anything that I feel like is tied to the Old Republic, and everyone kind of goes to the Knights of the Old Republic as being, this gemstone of a game, and like, what Star Wars games should aspire to be in a lot of aspects. So they are, they're playing with fire a little bit if you're gonna say this is like a sequel, or I think a spiritual successor was the term that was thrown out. So you want to make sure you get this thing right. But like you said, we're probably gonna forget all about this in a week, and then, in a year and a half, maybe like a 2027, Star Wars celebration timeline of we get some real big chunky news from this, and like it's going to come out soon after, soon before, something like that. Because I feel like it'll take, they're dropping this, like you said, take a couple years. Seems like that timeline might fit, possibly maybe by the end of the year that year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering like how much the excitement that surrounded both Eclipse and the remake of Knights of the Old Republic, and how both of those have basically like not been very active in the past 3 or 4 years. I think that the announcements were very close to each other, and we're still waiting to know not when they're gonna come out, like, but
Mm-hmm.
if they're gonna come out. And
Right.
so I think that that might have motivated Lucasfilm to look elsewhere and start developing something else in the same timeline, because they must know that this is an as subset of the IP, or a timeline that everyone is interested in, and
Mm-hmm.
that they can actually start mining. In terms of the canon of it all, I mean, I don't think that it will matter much in the end. I mean, unless this is like a galaxy bending event that the game describes. If this is just an adventure, okay, it has like some relatively large stakes, but it's not, you know, uh, a before and an after in terms of the galactic timeline. The Old Republic is large enough in its timeline that they can actually get away with this being canon and just doing a show in the Old Republic that does not acknowledge this game at all. Like they can
Mm-hmm.
set a series like 200 years before or after this game,
Right.
and they still have, you know, thousands of years that they can cover in other media.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's cool that it's canon, but like, what does it matter,
Mm-hmm.
anyways?
It's going to be fun to kind of get the little tidbits of the story as they come out, kind of learn, what truly does spiritual successor to this game, mean. And I think it's interesting that when you have the original creator here, and it seems like he started his own like gaming company from a little. I again, I'm not someone that's like a gamer, so I don't know all of these different gaming studios, but it looks like he started like his own gaming company here, and this is like their game. Like this is their big game that they have that they're working on. And I wonder if over time, as we learn more about who's behind this project, I wonder if there will be people that he has brought in from past work experiences with maybe some of these Star Wars games that are also going to be, a part of these projects and that are going to be working alongside them in creating it to where it's like, okay, you have someone that's on top of this that clearly knows what it's like to make a Star Wars game in this style and this universe. And then he has the people around him that were working with him when he was doing that very same thing, a couple decades ago. And, this is their big game. This is their first big game. They clearly will want to make sure that this is, great, because this is something that could set that company up for success for a long time, or this is the thing that's going to derail them before they even get a chance to really get off the ground running. So I'm excited to kind of see. I think people in positions like that are more prone to take big swings and take risks in projects that they're working on. And sometimes that is exactly what we need. But I will probably say, again, long ways away from this, but this is probably one that I will be deeming worthy as spending a crazy amount of time trying to learn how to play and defeat and play on the easiest skill level for the vast majority of that time.
Yeah, no, I will be right there with you. Yeah,
What was it? Fallen Order. What are like? I think I played on Jedi Knight for the time I played the campaign, and so when I finished it, I decided to start over and do it again. But I was like, I'll put it on Master just because why not challenge myself? And then I realized very quickly that I have no interest in challenging myself to that degree when I'm playing this type of video game. I'm like, nope. I want it to be at least challenging, but not to where I feel like it's impossible. I don't want to continue. Like, no thanks. I would like a challenge, but not too much. My sports games is different. I'll max everything up because I'm like, this is the art of the challenge, right? Like, I'm gonna grind this out. But the Star Wars thing is like, nope. If I want to force push someone, I want to force push someone without having to worry about my entire life force draining to be able to before I can push force push someone again. But I'm excited about this. I thought this, like you mentioned it when we talked, this was like the shot of the trailer.
yeah,
And someone in the comments will probably know this. I think that's like the flagship of the Sith fleet from the Knights of the Republic game. Like Malgus, like the same ship, like the same one. So maybe there's some sort of remnants that like the ship, and there's something in there that they need. Is this so that the same sequence is there? I thought I was like, is there someone inside there that they're scared of that survived, is healing? I don't know, but it's gonna be fun to hear people speculate for the next few years.
yeah. Thank you. I look forward to the next set of reveals, which will hopefully come out sooner
Mhm.
rather than later.
You mentioned like Eclipse and the Knights of the Old Republic remake that's going on. But I think this is a little bit different because at least like with Eclipse, there's a lot of drama, there's a lot of negativity, there's a lot of discord that was going on, with leadership and with the situation there. And there was just a whole mess that was going on. And so there's a lot of reshuffling and a lot of things that were going on that I don't think created the best environment for that game to really move forward as efficiently as it could have. I have nothing to say on the Knights of the Old Republic remake, but at least with this game, it feels like this is the project. This is the only project, and we are moving forward with this, no matter what. So, if anything, that might be something that Star Wars fans can be excited about.
Yeah, I mean, nothing to add, honestly. Like, I'm a bit disappointed that the eclipse was just basically something to sell the
Mhm.
company. But yeah, I don't know, hopefully that one day that the trailer will pay off, and if not,
Mhm.
it will be another Star Wars legend, I guess.
Oh, we can do a whole pod about the Star Wars, the Star Wars that never warred. Yeah, that'd be a good
Yeah,
one. But Eclipse, that trailer was good. I thought that was a pretty cool trailer for what
yeah.
it's worth.
No, I completely agree.
So let's
Yeah,
go ahead and pivot here and keep the. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say keep the positive things going, but this just kind of pisses me off. But so Daisy Ridley, she gave her little spiel about how she did hear, the rumblings. Let me just put. I just love this picture of Ray. It's like Force Awakens vibes. We got Force Awakens 10-year anniversary coming up in a week. Let's put a picture of Force Awakens Ray up there. And so Daisy, said that she knows people on the crew. She has friends. Like she knew she heard rumblings, that this was going on. She had a better idea. And it just goes to show you that a lot of people knew about this and were hearing about this project. And the fact that she knew, I am sure, this is me putting on my tinfoil hat. I don't know if it was just the crew on the set, or like they're getting ready for this production timeline. These people are like, "Hey, Daisy, like guess what we're working on." I I just can't help but think it's gonna be a little bit bigger than that. There was a little bit more going on here than that we are really aware of, and my conspiracy theory is that all of this is going on. It gets shot down. There's things happening while she's on the stage at Celebration, and that's why all this Ray movies nonsense with the rewrites, the new writers, all of this has kind of been put on hold and put on the back burner because something to do with that story either had to do directly with the hunt for Ben Solo and what was going on there. And we've had to kind of rethink, our whole process and situation going on. Maybe not, but interesting to say, interesting to talk about because the hunt for Ben Solo is, in my opinion, one of the most shocking, just crazy stories in Star Wars for for a long time, honestly.
I agree. Yeah. Um, on the Daisy part, I'm still not convinced that this was simply yeah, I talked to Adam once every 8 months, and he actually mentioned this the last time we spoke, or something like that, like yeah, I'm friends with the production designer, and they mentioned, or simply I am on a Zoom call with Kathy Kennedy every 3 months to discuss the Ray movie, and she happened to mention this. I'm not convinced that she was gonna be a part of this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know that there's a very easy tinfoil hat conspiracy theory here, and she was involved all along. I'm not convinced either way, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's like a low-hanging fruit, but I
But it's
don't
one of
think that.
those where you're sitting there going, like, if there is a hunt for Ben Solo, he's alive, he's gonna return. Like, how is she not at least in the realm of that story? Like, just somewhere circling that story. It would just be so weird. We talked about this, I think, like a month ago, that the two of them they just feel like a package deal in a lot of ways at this point.
Yeah, but like we never actually knew what the Hunt for Ben Solo was about. Because
Right.
like maybe this movie was just Ben Solo trying to come back to the living for 2/3 of the movie, and the third act he actually does. So if he comes back towards the end of the movie, I don't see why. Like I actually think that Ray would be an awkward fit. But if he comes back like in the first act and spends the, I don't know, next two acts of the movie trying to make up for the all of the mistakes and or planets that he killed, then okay, then maybe I can start buying into some larger plot with the New
Mhm.
Republic and the uh, you know some Rey trying to set up the new Jedi Order elsewhere, and therefore there'll be a connection there. That I can understand, but since we don't actually know the story, I mean, this is just throwing
Mhm.
words in the air for
Right,
just
but
for
I
discussion.
I I just I know we don't know the story. I just again, like the hunt for Ben Solo. Like who's hunting for Ben Solo? And like Ben Solo is escaping himself and then he's redeeming. Like, where's the hunt that is going on there? Unless we're talking about, he's hunting inside. Like it's all about this inner
I mean,
journey. Like it's just weird that if Ben's going to return and be alive, that Ray is not a part of that story. Again, like, and she may not have been like really involved in that movie. But then it's like if Ray is getting her own movie and that's something that's being like worked on and planned and they have ideas for, and they also are thinking like, hey, this Hunt for Ben Solo movie is going to go down and we're doing this. Like it's weird that you wouldn't at least have some sort of connection between the two of them at some point. Like it's that's just a little bit too much for me to think.
yeah. I did have the same thought when I read about the Hunt for Ben Solo news, a month and a half ago. So, like, was this about Ray? My question would be, what would prohibit Daisy Ridley from speaking openly about it now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if she was involved all along, first of all, why didn't Adam Driver say anything when he was like just opening up?
Right.
Why wouldn't Daisy really say anything now? Is that we can also like open up conspiracy theories about perhaps they just want to keep it close to the vest just in case they actually reveal that it's coming back to life in a few months. I don't know necessarily know that's the case, but I know that they've been listening, like they must have been.
If they haven't been listening, they could probably read and they can see the banners that are flying over like headquarters. And so if they can, you got to assume that if they can't, they're not hearing, they're at least they're reading.
Yeah, I assume so.
But
So
I it's just funny that this story even exists still. Like I still remember when I first saw that, and I feel like I experienced every emotion as a Star Wars fan in that moment. And then now, Daisy's just kind of she's saying whatever about it. But those are like some. It feels like every day that passes with Lucasfilm right now, we're getting more clarity on the future of Star Wars, but we also are equally kind of wondering what the heck is going on with Star Wars as well, because you're getting this Mando Grogu movie, and then you just have Sean Levy coming out last week, and we have these interviews with Sean Levy, like me and Ghost talking, and you have Ryan Gosling in Star Wars, and I just think back to that Star Wars celebration a few years ago where Dave, Daisy, and Mangold were out there, and they were so adamant, like these are our three movies, in Star Wars. We're working on this, and now we're sitting here in the future, like we know absolutely nothing about any of these, and there is no word on any of them, and all of the chaos that's going on, but we still have the confirmation of two Star Wars movies that are going to be coming out each and one in the next 2 years. And it just blows my mind that when I think back to how excited I was like driving to work and I was on the phone with my friends, like Daisy's on stage, she's coming back, and like they're doing this, Mangold movie taking place 10,000 years in the past, and now I'm sitting here, 162 days away from Mando and Grogu and a Star Wars Starfighter movie. Like, just imagine us when we were talking about that and like we're reporting on that. Just imagine someone telling you that actually before any of those three movies even enter production, you're going to see Ryan Gosling in an interview about his Star Wars movie that he's starring in. You would have been like, what is going on?
that is, I thought that you were gonna go Mando and Grogu, but the Ryan Gosling part was actually what got me. Yeah, I I completely understand. I it is an interesting time because they're basically like redefining their entire slate every six
Mm.
months now. Like a year ago, they didn't know that Ryan Gosling and Starfighter were gonna be the next one after Mando and Grogu, and I'm sure that they're making a similar decision now. I assume that in the next few months we're gonna learn that either Dave Filoni's movie is going to start filming in a few months, or some other movie. I don't know about Mangold, but maybe.
Well,
Um,
Star Wars just tweeted something. Did we know
Yeah,
about this?
there's a new like the chat is like going off on the
The
new
Galactic
game
Racer
that was
game?
revealed. Yeah,
Did we know
yeah,
about this?
exactly. Just now, like 5 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. So this is also brand new. This is not
This is
something.
breaking news as we are live. Yes.
Oh, okay. I did not know. I was like, is this something we should already like know about? Like something? Okay.
Yeah.
It's like a just a racing game. That'd be fun. Oh my gosh. A racing high stakes racing adventure coming in 2026. Star Wars Galactic Racer. With the Empire gone and the galaxy rebuilding, the Galactic League is formed, an underground race scene where syndicates bankroll chaos and champions are forged.
That's cool.
That
So
could be
it's coming
fun.
out next year,
Yeah.
PS5, Xbox, and PC. That's cool because I like there were rumors about this game a few days ago, I think, if not hours even. Um, I honestly expected this to be like a maybe not a mobile game, but something similar to that.
Mhm.
And the fact that it's not only coming out on PS5, but like actually next year, when we already have a game scheduled for major consoles. I'm impressed. Okay.
I wonder, will this game be what they're telling me that it is, or will this be like another Squadrons game where
I
I've, you
assume
know what I
that,
mean?
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. But let's see. I have not seen the trailer, of course. So there's like
I that
it,
Squadrons game was so disappointing because if when you did you play it? Did you ever
no.
play it? Okay, so I got it because I really thought it was going to be like the ships like the space battles that I've always wanted to play like in Star Wars, and it was from the standpoint of you had so much control. It looked beautiful. I could fly around exactly how I wanted to and take more command of everything. But it was the most limited game like ever. There was no the story component were these lame like missions that you were kind of doing, and then the like modes like online modes where you would take on people. It was just so limited. There was only like a couple places you could go, a couple battles, and then like it would glitch so much where you couldn't even end the battle. And like if you keep doing what they tell you to do and nothing happens, and it was so disappointing because I bought that one really excited and I actually really loved playing it at first because I felt like, oh, this is gonna be great. Then I realized that there was nothing more like to it, and then they never really expanded on it or anything, so it was just kind of a dud. So I hope this one isn't a dud because I feel like everyone loves a good racing game, and I feel like a lot of Star Wars fans have been saying like get us some sort of like racing game in Star Wars for a long time, since there's like that old like early 2000s like pod racing game that was on like the PS2 that I remember playing as a kid. I think I still have it downloaded in my PS4, but that was like Pod Racer Revenge, I think is what it was called. That one was fun, and if there was something similar to that, I think it'd be a pretty big hit if it's, of
Yeah, I
course,
mean,
it's good.
there was this VR game that came out just a few months ago, I think. I think they were advertising this during Celebration and just came out in August or September. It was like just a 2 hour game for like a VR headset. Um, I I mean, I don't know. I imagine that this will be a bit different. I mean, coming for PS5 and so on. But let's see.
Mhm.
I will give my honest opinion after I see the trailer, which will probably be after the show. So
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. But so you were saying before with that, I got you with the Ryan Gosling bit. So if someone told me years ago that like the Mandalorian and Grogu would be a movie, like I don't think I would have really scoffed too much at that. I think I would have been fairly excited about it under the right circumstances because there are a lot
yeah.
of shows that do transition to the big screen. And
No, I mean,
especially after like season 2 of The Mandalorian, you could make it after that season. You could have made a case, be like, oh, like they're gonna take that story now and put it in theaters and tell something else. I think that it's just the way that it happened, as it feels
Yeah.
like this desperate act to get something onto the big screen into theaters is why maybe some people have that sour taste in their mouth or aren't really looking forward to it right now.
Yeah, I mean, my what I thought that you were gonna say was mostly that not that it is becoming a movie, which I mean, it was probably like inevitable at some point that the Mando was gonna be on the big screen. I mean, we are having supposedly the Filones movie, so I assume that he would be a main character in that story
Mhm.
or one of the. And so it's not entirely out of base that or unimaginable that there would be a Mandalorian
Right.
movie. It's just the fact that in 2023 we were told that these are the next three stories we're getting, and
Yep.
just less than a year after, scrap that. We're doing the Mandalorian Grogu movie and start shooting like 5 months.
Right.
Which I mean, it's for Lucasfilm standards, I guess it wasn't like the craziest thing that they've done, but it was still like. Uh, Make up your minds. I know this
Mhm.
was because of the strike, and I know this was because the Daisy Ridley movie was going through development hell, and the other two were not ready, and they needed a movie so that Bob Iger
Right.
could actually stand in front of the board. But
I I remember when it was announced and it was just like this
yeah,
random thing, this random story that came out on like a Tuesday afternoon.
it
And
was
because I
literally a
was,
Tuesday. Yeah, January
yeah,
12th
I was in the middle of teaching a lesson,
or
and
9th
then
or something like that.
yeah, I like glanced at my phone real quick, and I, see a few texts from like Luke, and then I saw like the Star Wars Newsnet Discord was going, and I'm sitting there going, wait, what? Like, what's going on? And then
Yeah,
it was one of those where I didn't even necessarily, you know, believe it either at first. I thought like, this, am I sure? And then once I saw we posted something, I'm like, I guess this is real. And then I had that same reaction of, okay, excitement, but also just a like, this is what we're doing now. But wait, hold on.
I mean,
Manslayer, is this real? Is this, are you messing with me right
he's
now?
apparently in the trailer. Yeah,
He is?
yeah,
Oh, I'm buying this game right now. Like, just send me the link right now. Anything that
such
ties
an easy
back
sell.
to the Phantom Menace, anything that gives me something with the Phantom Menace, like, I'm all in. Like, he always wins. That's my guy. I've been a Sebulba stan since day one. That punk Skywalker kid just took away his shot at glory. I always envisioned that he was a down on his luck racer at that point, just trying to reclaim the old magic. And now, years later, 2026, 27 years later, after the movie, we're finally going to get old Sebulba's redemption arc as he reclaims his place atop the racer hierarchy of the galaxy. This is going to be the greatest video game story of our lives, confirmed. I'm guaranteeing it.
He's probably in it for like one scene.
It's going to be the best part of the game. I
I
guarantee
don't
it.
know.
You're going to
Maybe
walk
he's even
away.
the protagonist. I don't know. I haven't seen the trailer.
He's gonna
I'm just
be.
messing with you.
I'm pro Sebulba. That's right, pro Sebulba over here. He was robbed. He was robbed. I love the pod racing scene so much. Sebulba to me was like, he's just a perfect. I have all these. I got one back there actually in my closet right now. It's the scene where Jar Jar like flings the thing at him and it gets in his stew and he's like wrestling. It's like a little miniature. It's still in the box. I found it at like a thrift store a couple of years ago. And then I have a like stuffed Sebulba thing that's back there. I don't know. I just have a lot of random Sebulba things because I love that. I just love Phantom Menace so much. So that's this is insane. He's
And soon
he's
you're gonna
still
have
got the two Twi'lek concubines.
as
Wait, was
one
that
does,
no? Like that would be
in an
that'd be
old age.
hilarious if that's in the trailer. Like he gets done, like he's in the trailer real quick. He's racing, and he hops off, and the Twi'leks are feeding him. That would be hilarious. Oh man, can't wait to watch
Yeah,
this in a little bit.
this show is like off the rails at the moment. So I don't know. Is there a topic that we were on?
Let's see. We are talking about that. So, I mean, this, how it goes. Okay, so they did announce the Mall Shadow Lord like preview comic, and there's going to be some interesting, tidbits in terms of like locations in there. How do you feel? Like, is that something that you are interested in? Just like a prequel, like or a preview comic to the show, and then did you see? I need to look. Let me check when the release date was for that because it's coming out before the show, then that might give us a little bit of a hint as when the show might come out as well.
I've not seen the release date. As far as the actual my interest in the miniseries, not really. I mean, I guess I will catch up with the story, either buying the comic or just reading about it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, uh, I'm more interested in the show, and even the show is like I'm interested in it because it comes out March 4th. Okay, I'm interested in the show because it's Star Wars and the animation looks cool, uh, but it's not the animated show that I was
Mm-hmm.
expecting or hoping for.
Well, that
So
is that is
um,
interesting though. We have it comes out March 4th because if it says if it's Shadow of Mall number 1, I don't know if they said like how many will be like
3, I
in this.
think.
They did? Okay, so 3.
Yes,
If
it's
they do
probably gonna
one a
be like,
month.
yeah, it's probably gonna be May the 4th. I assume
Mhm.
that they're gonna release the show as they usually do, like or
Mhm.
if it's not May the 4th, it's gonna be like later in May, and then on May the 4th they will have like one of these Tales of the X
Mhm.
that they've been doing for a couple of years.
Yeah. That's probably what it will
So
be.
yeah, I assume it will be something of this nature. I have the impression that the show will be out before the like mid the point of the year, so like
Mhm.
before July. But that's just a hunch based
Mhm.
on when they've released animated shows in the past.
Yeah. I'm excited about it. I wish that it was coming out a little sooner. I was hoping for just something a little Star Wars to watch before Mando and Grogu comes out in May. But I guess we can have, everything all at once there and then lead into Ahsoka. I was kind of hoping for, a little bit each quarter. We got that first quarter with Maul Shadow Lord in like February, March-ish, and then that'll lead into May's Mando and Grogu. We'll get a little October, November Ahsoka, and then at the end of the year we'll start getting the Starfighter, teasers and trailers for that. And but can't have everything in life, I guess.
And it's always possible that they release the show a bit earlier and they just release the comic alongside it.
Mhm. I guess that is true. Says like they were going to go to this planet called Janix that has been untouched by the Empire, and that's where Maul's going to try to be rebuilding his underworld empire. But I am excited for this show just from the standpoint of I feel like Star Wars animation just consistently delivers for the most part. I think I'm with you. This wasn't the show that I was wanting or looking forward to the idea of the most, but Sam Witwer as Maul is as iconic a Star Wars animated voice gets at this point. So I'm excited to see what they have here, and then maybe they're gonna, it seems like they're gonna lean into a lot of the darker themes, and it's gonna be maybe a just a grittier, darker show than what we're used to, especially coming off the heels of the Bad Batch, which is incredibly wholesome, about the loving family trying to stay together. I think this is going to be anything but that.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm expect. I mean, there were some rumors a few days ago that the trailer would be released soon.
Hmm.
I wouldn't be shocked if they released something this month, but since there's all the hype about the trailers before Avatar coming out, we had Supergirl today. We're probably gonna have Doomsday within the next 7 days. Um,
They got like that
maybe
6 minute Odyssey
Yeah, I mean, I
trailer
don't think that's gonna come out on the internet, so that's some one less thing
for
to worry about.
theaters.
But yeah, but Yeah, a mall
I
trailer
think
would now
mid
probably be.
mid-January when they released the Bad Batch trailer for the final season. It's like mid-January, and then that ended up coming out like a month or two later. So if they do something along those lines again, maybe like a January, February trailer, and then if they release the show a month or two after that, that'll probably be what we get. That's what they've done. They don't need to have a ton of news and build up for the animated shows. You know your audience is going to be there. You want a little word of mouth there, but I'm really curious to see, is this going to be a show that has like a multi-season run? Like, is this going to be, Mall Shadow Lord season one? We have Mall Shadow Lord season two, season three. But I'm curious, like, how much meat is left on the bone here, because we do get, we know the end of Maul's story. We know where he's at in Rebels. We've had a lot of him in the Clone Wars, and there's numerous comics about Maul as well. Like, is this a show that they're able to get multiple seasons out of? And if not, when is a good time for them to announce like the next Star Wars animated show that's going to come after? But I'm curious, what do you think? Do you think this is like a one and done season for Maul, or you think this is something they're like, all right, here we go, we have two seasons?
I mean, I do think that there's a decent chance we will get a second season, just because I think we were having the same questions about Bad Batch. Not because we've seen so much Bad Batch, but because this just feels like they are buying out time until they figure out what to do next after Clone Wars. And they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna release one season of this, and it's gonna be that. And it was not. It was like more three seasons, and it was like. What the first season came out in 2021, and yeah, and we finished 2024 or 2025, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we finished this year. It was still a few years, so I do think that there's a good chance we will get another season. Um, but it all depends on what the story is, and we still don't know the story because I have seen the trailer celebration.
Oh,
Most
thanks
of
you
the
for
public.
reminding me.
No, what I mean is that most of the public has not, and they have not released a full
i'm
synopsis about it.
i
And
I'm most of the public.
yeah,
I'm sadly one of the
and
plebeians over
the
here.
and it's not like the footage was super explicit about the story of the show.
Mm.
It's mostly like 2 minutes of uh, someone like whispering rumors about a potential return of a main character, and you get them all reveal at the end. Because at the time, like they showed the trailer before they revealed the title of the show, and so the trailer played as the actual reveal of what the show will be. Mm,
Manslayer says the story is he faces Vader and gets the hell out of there with his tail between his legs.
yeah, it's not about the. I mean, there's supposedly training of a young
Mm.
Twi'lek,
Hmm.
which is like taken out of Legends, but I don't have many details on that.
Okay. I wish I just want to be there and watch some of, at least I might just want to be at one Star Wars Celebration panel where a trailer for something is released, and I can be one of the chosen that got to witness something before the general public get to witness it 10 years later. But hopefully 2027 will be my year for Star Wars Celebration. That's the goal right now, is to be able to go over there for that one. I was excited though because they have been slowly dropping some Orlando. Orlando's big convention is MegaCon, and so they've been dropping some of the guests for that. And then they obviously Ashley Eckstein goes to MegaCon every year in Orlando. She lives here. Like, of course she's going to be there. They announcing her was no big deal. And then they did a Clone Wars reunion panel. A couple 2 years ago with Matt Lantern, James Arnold Taylor, and D. Bradley Baker, and Lantern, Arnold Taylor are coming back as well. But then I was really excited to see Catherine Tabor and Nika Futerman are also going to be there, the voices of Padme and Asajj Ventress, who I've never actually had the pleasure of listening to or asking a question, or hearing them talk about the show. So I'm actually really excited for those two to be there. and I'm hoping to bring some Clone Wars merch for the group to sign. I was excited about that. I feel like Padme is one of those characters that there's a lot of Padme stories, and I just feel like so many of them are not done very well. And like the Padme trilogy, I thought was incredibly disappointing. Some of the comics she's appeared in, I felt like just were disappointing. I don't, I don't love like where the trajectory of her story goes in Revenge of the Sith. There's so many great, I think, deleted scenes that are. It seems like all of her best moments in Attack of the Clones are like these deleted scenes that would have added a lot more to the story. And so in Clone Wars, it felt like as the show kept going on, she kept getting pushed more and more to the side, which was kind of frustrating as someone who really enjoys the character. And once more, so I would almost be curious to hear if she has thoughts on any of that after all of this. But I'm excited. I'm looking forward to. I always love it when they get the different crews back together to sit around and answer questions.
I mean, it's not an easy character to write, to be honest, because it's
It's
like
true.
you get a good you can have a good description of the character, but it's not easy to set up the right scenarios for to display her character
Mhm,
skills and actually make it meaningful in that you're not either repeating what the movies did or
mhm,
uh, overshadowing it.
mhm.
So I understand. I understand the frustration, but also the complications of writing
No,
that character.
yeah, that makes sense. But I'm excited nonetheless. But how many celebrations have you been to? You went to the last one.
So this one was the third one. So 2025 was the third one.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was also my favorite one, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, but because I was lucky enough to be able to access some of the main panels and skip many of the lines, and that was the main pain of the last couple celebrations. So it was just a lot of waiting around,
Oh, okay.
and it's very frustrating. That part is very frustrating. I mean, the longest queue I had to endure this year was for the store, and even that I got like so to access the store you get like this pass that you can apply for, and it's randomly assigned, and I got it for a specific time, so then like a time slot, and like the line for people who didn't have it was just like enormous. Like it was
Hmm.
literally maybe 92 minutes to 2 hours of just waiting to access the store, and I had to wait, at least an hour to pay for one t-shirt. And, I was surrounded by people, with mountains of merchandising like in their hands, and you know,
So
ready
what
to
you're
fill in
saying
the
is this will be perfect for someone like me who lives here in Orlando, who is battle hardened by waiting in theme park lines quite, fairly often enough. Like I am built for this. I'm built for standing in
I
line
mean,
for hours for 5 minutes of pleasure, or less.
it's not the waiting that I mind, it's the wasting of the time of the day.
Yeah.
Like, what else could I be doing at celebration other than waiting in line to pay for my one t-shirt? When like because
There
I mean the
has to be
line
a
was so
better
long
system.
because everyone is getting, like, instead of one t-shirt they're getting 20 plus 20 figures plus 20 plushes plus and so on. Like everyone is getting their bank accounts drown out at this convention, and that's stopping the line. Like
Yeah.
I was actually picturing the organizers just setting up a fast line for people purchasing three items or fewer. Like that
Okay.
that's just an easy fix, and because there was none of that, I had to wait for at least an hour. And my girlfriend was
What
there,
if
and
we
and
we'll start we start a campaign right now, and it's just the single T line. If you just want a single T-shirt, like you come on through, Like you come on through and they give you a time. You got 5 minutes here. Here's your timer, and you go. They have a specific section that's just for t-shirts. You go in.
I mean,
You can only get one, and you got 5 minutes. You don't make it in your 5 minutes, like you're done. It's over. Would you be able to operate under that pressure?
um, yeah, but there was another problem, which was I wanted to buy two t-shirts, which was the one with the main logo of the celebration and the one with the key art. And I didn't buy the one with the key art because it was sold out 2 hours into the convention. Like I'm
Mm,
not kidding. Like probably sold out the afternoon before from people who bought it in advance.
that's
So
wild.
so I recently bought it in the online store, and it was more expensive. The shipping was more expensive than the actual T-shirt, and it's probably gonna get here like 2 months from now because it's traveling from Japan. So at least it will be worth it, I guess.
You're gonna you're gonna wear this. You're gonna get this t-shirt. It's gonna be like the wrong size or something. It's not gonna fit at
I did
all.
order one size larger, and I don't know if I made the right choice, but let's
I
see.
can't wait to hear about this. Like you get it on, it's like this is the worst. It's the worst.
I mean, it's a bit of a random choice because the London ones, I usually get the size large, and the London sizes were smaller than the same size in Anaheim and also in Japan. And the Japan size, I think, was a bit larger, and therefore, uh, I don't know, just the things that people want to hear about on a Thursday night, I guess. But
um, last
sizes of t-shirts.
last thing, and then we'll get out of here. I do want to talk. We do want to talk about the a theatrical cut that's going to be released in a
We
couple
need
of
to
years.
talk about Skeleton Crew though, like for at least 5 minutes to honor the thumbnail.
Okay, okay. We'll honor the thumbnail now. With Skeleton. I was gonna even say like we just changed the thumbnail at this
I
point,
mean that
but
that's fine as well. I guess
no.
retroactively it
Okay,
makes
we'll,
sense.
we'll wrap up with Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew. Here we go. It's been a year since Skeleton Crew. I am going to try to remember all of the names of the five main characters, and I just want to see if I can get it right. We have Jod Nawood, of course, Jude Laws. We have
Okay, I only
Neil.
got Judd. Like
Um,
I did not
Jod
remember the last name.
I remember all of it because Janelle has never seen Skeleton Crew, like never watched. She doesn't watch any Star Wars really at all. Um, but when I got a Jod like action figure and she read the name on there, she's like Jod Nana, and then I started just saying Jod Nana. What? She just laughs every time. And she thinks this is so stupid. She thinks it's the stupidest name, but she likes it. But um, anyways, so
She's got a point though.
she got a point. But Jodnon Wood is Jude Law's character. You have Neil and Wim. I think it's Wim. Or is it Zim? It's not
No, it's
Zim.
him.
Okay, it's Wim. And then you have, yeah, there's like a V. Is it her name like V or something?
I think it was KB,
KB. Yeah, that's right. KB. And then I want to
and I cannot
say
remember like the actual the, the girls.
April. No, that's not right.
No, I don't think that's right.
Ava. What was
No,
it? Manslayer. What was her name? Oh man, this is gonna kill me if I don't remember her name. I'm blanking on it. Man. So we have Wink. It was not Winky. Stop. It's not
it
Winky.
was not.
It's not Winky. Jod. We have
In any case,
Jod
that should tell
Neil.
you all about our knowledge of Skeleton Crew 1 year after.
What is your? I've heard some people say that Skeleton Crew should have just been a straight to Disney Plus movie, or like an.
Fern,
Oh, okay, Fern. Nice, nice, nice. That was good. Good pull. Way to pull that out there at the end. Appreciate
that
it.
was IMDb for you.
Oh, okay. Um, I thought you
Sorry,
already
go
just had.
ahead.
I thought you just had a revelation all of a sudden. But no, I've seen some people say that they felt like Skeleton Crew should have been either like a theatrical, like movie, like holiday movie for Disney that came out, or or just a straight to Disney Plus movie. I'm curious what your thoughts are on that. Would that change your opinion of Skeleton Crew at all if they had just adapted it to like, hey, here's like a 2 hour movie? I feel like that might have been something a little bit more memorable.
No, I think that it was not memorable because it was not very interesting. Uh,
Mhm.
uh, I think it was the wrong application of the argument that Star Wars was made for 12-year-olds.
Mhm.
Star Wars was indeed made with 12-year-old in minds, but adults were still able to enjoy it, as evidenced by you and me still enjoying Star Wars
Right.
at in our 20s, and people in their 40s as well, of course.
Mhm.
Um, as you know, 26-year-old, I was not enjoying myself watching Skeleton Crew because I thought this was made for exclusively 11-year-olds. So I don't know, I found it boring and quite predictable overall, and it was just not a like it was Stranger Things in space as it was described from the beginning, but that was not the best description that you could give uh, based on like you could actually see someone at the office saying we should do Skeleton Crew in space, and that's the you know cheap uh, result that they came up with in terms of the story. I don't know.
Mhm.
I'm being a bit mean, but I just didn't think it was very well written. So
Mhm. It's one of those projects where if you look at every single name attached to the project, you without watching it, like let's say you just don't watch it at all, and someone was trying to sell you on a Star Wars show without anything, and you're like just listing, from Jude Law being in charge to all of the people that were directing these episodes, you would probably think, "Oh, this is a banger. Like this is one that I'm hitting next episode on immediately." And
yeah.
frankly, it's in my opinion, it's my least favorite of all of the Disney Plus Star Wars that we've gotten. It's probably not one that I'm going to go back and watch again anytime soon. I think that it's not as maybe as bad as you're saying. I think there are some people that do just find it very appealing just from like the cute level of it, and how the kids are coming together. A few people, some people really like that stuff, but I am mostly with you that it just came and went, and I think that kind of gets to my overall issue with oversaturation of Star Wars streaming in general, where I just don't want Star Wars, even in the streaming world, to feel like the next show is just something that comes and goes, and if I miss out on it or I don't really enjoy it that much, that's okay. There's always the next one. Like I want Star Wars to feel like an event, or I need to make sure that like this needs to have that feeling of anticipation, but also like that feeling of dread before you go, because you think that, oh man, if this isn't good, if this isn't really good, then man, it's just gonna eat away at me, because I don't know when the next show that I'm gonna get necessarily is, and if we're gonna get back to something that's really great. But with Skeleton Crew, it was like, oh, I can't win. I got Andor coming in the next year, and so I'm gonna be just fine. And I don't, as great as Andor was, it was worth being excited for, but I don't want to get to that point where something doesn't work out and I'm just like, it's whatever, we'll move on to the next one. Like Star Wars is bigger than that. I don't
I
know
mean,
if
there's a point to
streaming
be
is.
made that we forgot about Skeleton Crew because Andor was so good. Uh, that's a valid point. I do think that we would still not remember it as well had Andor not come out this year.
Mhm.
Um, but maybe it wiped our memories from that. From our what am I even saying? Like
Mhm.
maybe Andor just blurred everything that came before it. Like even I barely remember the Acolyte.
Mhm.
which was yeah, a few months before Skeleton Crew, but it also, I mean, there's another factor with the Acolyte, of course, which was the online discourse, and that just eclipsed everything.
Mhm. And that was,
Um,
but that was, see, with the Acolyte, at least it felt like that felt like an event that I was dreading the next episode because I was wondering, oh my gosh, what's the stupid discourse going to be like after this? But and then there were
yeah,
episodes that were really good that I really enjoyed. Like there are specific moments of the Acolyte, at least, that I think about where I was excited or I remember vividly what happened. There's not really a singular moment in Skeleton Crew when I think about that show that just pops into my head that I remember, other than like just bits and pieces of different things. There's nothing that is like, the moment of the show that's going to stick with you for a long time. And I think that's the big problem, because even like a year later I could pretty much tell you what the Acolyte was about and the ins and outs of that show and some of the characters I really loved. I can't do that much with Skeleton Crew. It just kind of exists, and I'm moving
yeah,
on to the next thing. And
yeah,
like there was no, it just didn't really feel like we had that discourse about Skeleton Crew either, like online. Not that everything needs to be some intense dialogue and argument, but even if something is really good, people are online talking about how great it is, and they want to share their opinions of it. It just felt like it kind of was there. And some people were talking about it, the usual crowd of people that are always talking about Star Wars or talking about it, but it didn't really seem like it was drawing in those people that are just like, ooh, this sounds good. Let me tune in for a little while.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean, of course, I got some shit for saying negative things about the show, and now I'm proving right because nobody remembers it. So yeah,
Hmm. Right. That's a
just
fair that's a fair point.
hitting the high ground as I do. I don't know. I'm just being
No,
a bit of an asshole now, but
no, celebrate. Take your victory lap a year later. You earned
yeah.
it. You earned it. No, for sure. But anyway, so it's a fun week in Star Wars. We got trailers for video games. We look back on Skeleton Crew. We have Maul Shadow Lord information, and we
But
also had Daisy Ridley come up. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
yeah, the re-release.
Oh
What
yeah,
are your
of
thoughts
course.
on
I forgot I mentioned that. So yeah, we get the OG theatrical release is coming out in 2027. The newly restored, I guess, is the word they used exactly. And this is going to be fun. And I originally just thought they were just going to blast like the special edition New Hope back up for the 50th anniversary and cash in some money off of that. But no, they're going to go with the OG theatrical release, newly restored in May, or I think they moved it up to April of
February?
February of 2027, so a little bit earlier, which is exciting. And we get not one, Miguel. If you had told me this year that post like
I knew you were
summer,
gonna mention this.
post summer, that we would get not one but two mentions of a Star Wars anniversary movie, and neither of them would be the Force Awakens 10-year anniversary movie, I would have said, like, what else are we talking about? But no, of course, we got to make sure people have their calendars marked 2 years in advance for their 2027 A New Hope journey.
I mean,
I
I
had to
haven't
get it
checked the
out.
calendar for February, but I do think there's a good chance that this will make decent money. Like the re-release of the original cut will, like, there is just some curiosity factor because I mean, I don't know about you, but I have like zero attachment to this like the original version of Anyhow. Like, if you told me that I am never going to watch that, I wouldn't mind because I have never cared about the original one. Like, I am I grew up on the special editions, and that is the version that I've always seen. And I appreciate for all the hail that George Lucas gets today in the Disney era, the fact that he was always criticized for actually making the movie 20 years later that he actually wanted to make. It's a bit of an irony, and I actually respect George Lucas for that. Like, he actually went back and made the things that he wanted to make when he
Mhm.
the technology was available. So in my mind, there's the, only the special editions. I am curious about the original cut and
So I actually
that
have a cool story, I think.
okay.
I grew up, I remember vividly watching the special editions for like the first couple of times and knowing all the differences because I grew up, we had these old like just VHS tapes of the original trilogy, and we would just watch those on repeat all the time. I was watching them in my house. I'd take them over. I remember watching them at my grandma's house. I don't remember who owned them, if she owned them, and they were just there at her house, and we watched them there, and I would take them back and forth, or if my dad owned them. But I remember we watching those all the time as a kid, and then we putting on a DVD of the special editions, and then like just noticing, oh, that's different, oh, that's the new thing that they added in. And so, but because of the special editions, and that's what's available on Disney Plus, and because the if you go buy like a DVD of the New Hope, it's going to be the special edition, DVD that's out there. I it'll be fun, I think, for me, and be kind of be a harkening back to my childhood of watching that theatrical cut and kind of remembering, what it was like to sit there and watch VHS tapes on this tiny little TV that my grandma had in her old like duplex that we used to go visit back in the day. And so that will be fun to kind of go back and do that. And then of course there's going to be entire generations of people that are going to be there thinking about when they were kids seeing the theatrical release for the first time, like my own father. So that's going to be exciting. I'm curious, I didn't realize that you would, I guess, never really remember seeing the theatrical cut, but when you think about it, where are you going to get it unless you're finding some really old tape that someone has and
Yeah.
plugging it into a VHS, whatever they call it, the VHS player or whatever, and no one who has that nowadays. I probably go
Yeah.
to a thrift store somewhere, maybe find something like that.
So your story is basically me watching the extended editions of Lord of the Rings, right? So I am
Okay.
basically like, okay, that is different, that is annoying. That is
Oh
me
man.
watching the
Okay.
extended cuts, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Interesting.
I am
I
frustrated because all they put in theaters are the extended cuts, and I don't like the
mhm.
extended cuts.
Yes, I saw
Sorry.
that, and I was with you. I saw that, and I was like thinking, like, oh, Miguel's gonna be disappointed because I saw that they're releasing all the movies in January, the extended
Yeah,
editions, and I, I am, I am with you on the second and third. I really like the extended for uh or sorry, for the first and second. I do like the extended for Return of the King. The Two Towers to me is the one where I very much prefer the theatrical run over the extended. I think that the theatrical run of Two Towers is just perfect and it hits the timing, everything. I think it does lag a little with the extended edition. Not to make anyone upset or anything. But I'll still go see him in theaters. I really want to see him in theaters.
yeah. Let's see.
Before I let you go here, let's see. Couple holiday plans. Are you planning on seeing Avatar?
Yeah, I don't know when yet, but I will check it out.
Bought my
Um,
tickets last weekend. Janelle's loves it's so weird. Her attention span for things is so bizarre. Like she'll sit and we're watching something 10 minutes and she's like, I'm done. I'm bored. Like we're not watching this. But then we'll watch Avatar and she's locked in for 4 hours and
yeah,
is like, let's do the double feature. Let's watch The Way of Water now. And so she's really excited for this one. And she's like, I heard it's the longest one. And she's like, I'm down. And so we bought it for like the biggest screen that we could find in Orlando. And dude, it was $33 a ticket for
yeah,
that the IMAX screen opening weekend, which I was expecting because I had bought that same theater. It's a giant screen. It's awesome. But that same theater we had bought for Oh my gosh, for Mission Impossible back in May, it was really expensive too. I don't think Janelle's aware these are not reclining seats, so we'll see how she feels when we sit down, and it's not the nice recliners, but
You know, this first world problems like really matter, you know.
sometimes I don't think she'll care. She'll be locked in. So Marty Supreme, does that
So I am
come on your
super excited about Marty Supreme. Unfortunately, it's not opening here
okay, I
until
was
like
curious.
end of February. So I
Oh,
am very
okay.
disappointed about this. I am counting the days. I was reading the reviews last week and like I was just salivating.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, unfortunately, I will have to wait a bit longer.
Mm.
Um, Thankfully, the new Wake Up Dead Men movie is opening up on Netflix
Ah,
globally
yes.
this weekend, so that I can check out. I and I mean, of course, like streaming releases are gonna be global, and I can catch up with the rest of the world. So Fallout is next week as well. Uh, but yeah, in terms of movies, it's gonna be Avatar. I have not seen Wicked. I have no interest in seeing Wicked, so let's see if they like what else can I watch this Christmas
Mm.
season. Uh,
I love that. I forgot about the AI. I forgot about the AI story. We'll do that another time. That we've had good vibes tonight. I don't want to mess up the good vibes tonight. It will be
yeah,
for another time. But yeah, I am looking forward to Marty Supreme. I am not going to be able to see it for a couple weeks after it comes out because I'll be traveling a lot with family. It'd be hard to get them to go. I think to the theater for Marty Supreme, like that big of a group to buy into the Timothy Chalamet ping pong movie might be a little bit challenging for some people. But and just with holiday plans, family things. But as soon as I get back, I think like early January, that'll probably be like on the top of my list to check out for sure. See my boy Timmy. But well, been fun. A lot of fun things going on in the Star Wars world. Some interesting announcements, video games, Small Shadow Lord, all the stuff. And next week, we'll be back on. I think Tom will be back as well. I think Luke will be here next week. We'll see. But I think we're going to be locking in with a 10-year anniversary Force Awakens chat for sure. So make sure like you bring all of your hard hitting Force Awakens takes in the chat. Make sure you bring everything you're excited about for that because Force Awakens 10-year anniversary pod next week, unless we get some crazy Star Wars thing that happens in the next week, which I doubt, but you never know. You never know. But Miguel, thanks for hopping on. Appreciate it
yeah.
as
Thank you.
always. For Light and Life, everyone remember we are all just cheering on Sebulba in this new Star Wars video game.